After the hypocrites left, the number of the Muslim army became only around 700 against the army of 3,000 Quraysh. So the Prophet ﷺ ordered 50 archers to be stationed there. Amidst the fighting, Khalid made an attempt, but the archers could repel Khalid and his horsemen. At one point, the Quraysh army started to retreat. Most of them left their position to get their booty. But one commander of Qurayshi army saw an opening in the Muslim defense. He led his horsemen toward the remaining Muslim archers on the hill. There were only 10 to 12 of them left there. No match for Khalid and his troops. Ikrimah followed Khalid's lead and joined the fight with his troops. After the archers on the hills were neutralized, both Khalid and Ikrimah went around the hill and came behind the Muslim defense line. Ikrimah, with part of his troops, attacked the group of Muslims who were with the Prophet ﷺ near the hill. Khalid and the rest of Ikrimah's troops rushed to the Quraysh camp to attack the Muslim soldiers there from the back. This tactical move led by Khalid created a lot of confusion and panic among the Muslims. Seeing that, Abu Sufyan took control of part of the fleeing Quraysh infantry and rushed them back into the battlefield. Now the Muslims were attacked from two sides. Although they fought bravely, they had to sustain heavy casualties. The battle was now concentrated into two separate locations. One was the main body of the Muslim fighting against the main part of the Quraysh army near the Quraysh camp. And the other was a group with the Prophet ﷺ fighting against part of Ikrimah's squadron. The Prophet ﷺ understood that he could not hold his position only with a few companions against Ikrimah's troops. So he ordered them to slowly move towards the slope of Uhud mountain. But before they could reach the slope, Ikrimah and part of the Quraysh infantry rushed from different sides and surrounded the Prophet ﷺ and his companions. Here, the fighting was intensified. Both Prophet ﷺ and his companions fought bravely and slain many enemies, but they also took heavy hits. Half of them fell in battle, and the rest of them, including the Prophet ﷺ himself, were injured. But they could eventually reach higher grounds and put up a better resistance on the steep slopes. Back in the main battlefield, the Muslims were fighting haphazardly as there was no one to lead them. In the end, they lost their fighting spirit. Some took shelter in the nearby hills. Some fled the battlefield. Khalid then moved with his troops towards the Prophet ﷺ's location, but he could not overcome the Muslim resistance with his cavalry on the steep slopes of the mountain. In the end, there was a stalemate. The Quraysh army could not advance further through the mountain. The fragmented Muslims also started to regroup along the mountain slope. In the end, there was a stalemate. After several rounds of discussions debating on different factors, the Qurayshi leaders understood that the more time they spent in the battlefield, the less would be their chance to defeat the Muslims completely. The Muslims were already regrouping. Also, there was a chance that more people could come to join the Muslims from Medina as time passed. Then, the Quraysh army would be attacked from both front and back, and they were unable to penetrate the Muslim defense on the mountains, even after several desperate attempts. The more they kept fighting, the more casualties the Quraysh had compared to the Muslims. So the Qurayshi commanders decided to claim victory, call off the fighting, and return to Mecca. The result of the Battle of Uhud was actually a draw. Although the Muslims endured heavy losses, It was the Quraysh army who became strategically weak in the end and left the battlefield. However, in the description of the Battle of Uhud, we have the first detailed records of Khalid's boldness and his military skills. There were several other important events that took place during the battle, but they are beyond the scope of the discussion for this series. Here, we mainly focus on the general progression of the battle and the events in which Khalid was more or less involved. Therefore, in no way, this is the complete picture of the Battle of Uhud. By the end of the Battle of Uhud, both the Muslim and the Quraishi army knew that they would meet each other in the battlefield again. In the coming years, the Quraysh would make another attempt to invade Medina, which would be known as the Battle of Khandaq, or Battle of the Trench in history, followed by an attempt by the Muslims who marched inside Mecca to perform Hajj, which would result in the standoff at Hudaybiyah and a subsequent treaty. But those are stories for another day.